Welcome to I Feel Fat today. I'm your host, Kelly Taylor. I'm recording a very quick intro because I have to get this uploaded, edited and uploaded and posted for your viewing pleasure down to the wire this week. But we're back with another episode. Happy Friday. We made it through the week by some miracle. Real quick, of course, some housekeeping. Follow us on social media at I Feel Fat Today. Follow me, your host, Kelly Taylor, on Instagram at Hello, This is Kelly. And of course, subscribe to our YouTube page where we have full video episodes like the one you are about to watch right now. And if you prefer to listen audio only to your podcast, you can find us on Spotify and most importantly, Apple Podcasts, where when you're there, leave us a 5-star review. That kind of stuff helps. So please, if you could do all that, it's all free to do. And it helps me feel like I'm not doing this for nothing, just screaming into the void. But the past few weeks, each episode has been a solo episode. It's just been me and you, which has been a lot of fun, and I enjoy our time together. But this week we are back with a guest. Yes, we're back in the rotation of guest episodes. Next week I should be good to have, our full, proper, nice, fleshed out video intro before we go into it with our guest. But no such luck this week. But it's a great episode. My guest is really cute and funny, and we have a nice, really great conversation that I think you're really going to enjoy, because we're just two girls that grew up with Korean moms that picked apart everything about us. Just kidding, obviously. But no, my guest very much relates to that, and she was fantastic. So without further ado, enjoy the episode. Please welcome to the podcast, Minji. Yeah, that's on.
Okay.
We are good. We are rolling. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Well, let me shut this off. Thank you so much for coming on. I'm so excited to chat with you.
Me too. It's so nice and cozy with the
Yes,
cat
I
and
try to keep it as
dog.
cozy as possible with my little animals here.
Yeah.
They're good. They know how to be chill. It's also kind of later in the day, so we've exercised everybody. Everybody's good and ready to chill. So thank you so much for coming over. We were chatting a little bit before we started rolling, and you're newly back to the city after being gone. So tell me a little bit about, I like to start off with my guests asking where they're from, because it really gives me a good sense of just like, what they dealt with growing up, knowing where they're from.
I like how it started. So my name is Minji, from South Korea.
Okay.
I'm from a city called Busan. It's like a Miami of Korea.
Oh, so
like a
okay.
beach town.
Nice.
And I feel fat all the time, so I reached out to you.
Yeah.
I want to be on the podcast.
I love it.
Yes.
I love when people say to me, I totally resonate with this. Let's talk. Amazing. Okay. Yeah. So you feel fat all the time. So do you ever remember a time in your life when you weren't thinking about your body?
Oh, I think the moment I got to, not like the moment, but the moment I started to be less insecure about it after moving to New York.
Okay.
But I think coming from South Korea, where the beauty standard is so strict,
Right.
there's always constant pressure to be in a certain form of body type.
Right.
And I was always feeling very insecure about putting myself out there. And here in New York, I feel a little more liberated because there are so many different types of people with different bodies, different shape of bodies. So I'm kind of in my journey of, healing, I guess.
Yeah, no, totally. Absolutely. Yeah. What do you think about, this is kind of a offshoot, but what do you think about the popularity of Korean beauty in the US? It kind of feels like in the last 10 years, maybe less, Korean beauty has been all over the place in the US. Do you kind of look at that that's just how it is in Korea?
It was kind of like that all the time. I think it coincides with the K-pop.
Oh,
the rise
right.
of
Okay.
K-pop.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And how I don't know if you're familiar with K-pop idol groups.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, they have very specific types of looks.
Yes.
And I think that's kind of like the guiding light of the beauty standards.
Right.
I mean, I understand why people like it because we are beautiful.
Yeah.
It is beautiful.
Yeah, it's very visually pleasing.
I do admit that.
Yeah.
But when you're living in a country where it's the dominating beauty,
Yeah.
it's so easy to think that you're so fat and ugly.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah,
'Cause-
because like fat equals bad.
Mhm.
Wow. Okay. So grew up in South Korea. So when was the concept of dieting first introduced to you? Like, were you like even cognizant that what you were doing was a diet, or was it just like, this is how we are, this is how we eat?
Yeah. I think my mom was always on a diet.
Mom
So-
was always on a diet. Yeah.
That's how I was introduced. And then I remember after I got this question, I remember there was a book for kids in like, I don't know, early teens for about dieting.
Really?
Yeah, I remember reading it.
Oh, wow. I would love to get my hands on that.
I would love to remember the title of the book, but if I come across it again, I'll reach out
Yeah,
to you.
absolutely. Wow. Okay. Yeah. So, and you said you were a kid or a teenager?
That was about, like 11, 12. It was a pretty
Wow.
popular book.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Okay. So it's been like ingrained in you, like from around puberty time. Like, this is important.
Yeah, that like you have to get in this specific
Yeah.
shape. I think I still get comments on my content like about like body shaming.
Like comments on the stuff that you post,
Yeah.
body shaming you.
Yeah.
Really?
I know, I'm like fit.
What? That's insane. Gosh, it's like we get no rest. Like it's like we're a total uphill battle.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I can't believe that. Well, I mean, I can believe that because people are terrible. Gosh.
Especially those people who comment on stand-up videos,
Yes.
they are terrible.
I know, the worst people. It's like, I love when I will post a stand-up video and the comments are about my looks, and it's like, okay, but what did you think about the jokes?
What
you
did
know?
they say about your look?
Oh, just horrible things, you know,
Oh my
like,
God.
yeah, just people being really nasty. Like, it's crazy. But I mean, hey, keep
Hating?
keep hating. It's good for the algorithm. I'll take the engagement, you
I
know.
agree.
That's really what I look at it as. That's what you have to look at it as.
You know, when people are fighting in the
Oh,
comments, best for the algorithm.
Yes, so good. Like, please keep doing it. Do it more. So yes, you said your mom was dieting a lot. Did you always know her to be a dieter? Like, has she ever not?
I mean, now she's chill.
Yeah, now she chilled
Now
out.
she's chill and she's having a good life. But like when
Good.
she was like in early 30s, that would be my when I was or like mid 30s, she was dieting all the time.
Yeah.
And she had interesting diet
Mm.
methods, like only eating certain things or don't eat dinner, whatever.
Yeah.
I also did one time apple diet.
Apple diet. Tell
Where
me
you-
about this.
Only eat apples.
Very straightforward.
Yeah, just apples.
Just apples. How long did you do this for?
3 days.
Yeah, that's the you max out.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then you slowly go back to a normal meal.
Uh-huh.
Like you eat porridge after that.
Porridge, okay.
And then salad maybe.
Yeah.
So like you slowly wake up the intestine.
right.
But apples, strictly apples for 3 days. It
Wow.
worked. I was very
Yeah, I
thin.
bet. Yeah, because you're like literally starving yourself.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. It's like, I wonder, like, where did we pick that up? Like, where did we learn the apple diet? And like, for me, I'm 31. So like, I had MySpace groups that were very like pro, Anna, pro eating disorders. And then Tumblr was a big space for us to like find these, crazy diets. But I guess with the internet, it's like you can find out about the apple diet.
Yeah, I mean, I had my little book,
Oh, and you had your little book. You had your book. Wow. Did you get that in school, or was it like you got it in like a Cosmo?
It was at a bookstore, and it was very
bookstore.
popular.
Yeah.
It was a very popular, like when you have like a bestseller book.
Yeah.
It was one of them.
Wow.
For kids. That sounds disgusting
Yeah, that's
now that I think about it.
Crazy. Do you think boys were reading that book too, or was it just girl?
To jerk off?
No,
maybe.
it's like
But it was mainly for women.
Yeah,
like
I would
girls.
imagine. Totally. Okay. Yeah. They're the ones that are most interested in it. Okay. Did your mom make you feel bad if like you weren't super skinny?
I don't think so. But like she makes comments about my looks in general, like what I'm wearing,
Right.
what kind of makeup I'm doing.
Right.
And then I grew up with a sister.
Okay.
And my sister and my mom, she's 1 year younger than me.
Okay.
And my sister and my mom always comment on my looks.
Oh, it's like they like gang up on you.
They do. Yeah.
And nothing brings you closer than a common enemy. I'm not saying that you're their enemy, but like when you have someone to like, feel your wrath.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, that's rough. That's especially when your sister's only a year younger than you. It's like we're the same.
It is. But like she has very specific style, and then I do think that they have very decent taste.
Yeah.
I hate the fact that they make comments about my look all the time, but they are right. That's the worst part.
You have a very cool look. Okay, the night that you approached me, you were wearing the coolest outfit. Like so I can't even it was very New York.
Yeah.
It was very New York. It was very cool. It was like what kind of fabric was it? Denim?
I'm trying to remember what I was wearing.
You were wearing it looked like it was like painted fabric. It was a really, really cool outfit. Like it was like a big coat with like pants that like kind of like this, or like they like it like was nice and like I can't remember the name of
I think it's painted. I self-painted. I'm a painter.
Oh, you're a painter. Okay.
Yeah, so I paint on clothes.
Oh, that's amazing.
I wear them around. But when I bring them back to Korea, hideous.
Yeah, no one likes it.
No one likes it. My mom hates it. My sister hates it. They'd be like, "Stop wearing these." But I'm like,
no, you're too New York for them. You're too New York for them. Yeah. Oh wow. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Do you have siblings? Do you have?
Yeah. So I have an older brother and a younger brother. So my older brother and I are 2 years apart, and my younger brother and I are 6 years apart. So my older brother and I, we had more of like a friendship / competitive thing happening because we were closer in age, and he was always and still is super skinny.
Yeah.
So I felt like I was always competing against that, and like the adults in my life were like comparing us all the time. But we're just two extremes of opposite ends of the sort of like spectrum of what your body can look like. So he's super skinny. I've always been, on the heavier side. And my younger brother, he's, I've always been sort of like a maternal figure to him because I am so much older. Because I think I can never compare myself to my younger brother, because it's just always like, I'm always like just wanting to, make sure he's good and, all that.
I also have a younger brother that's 8 years younger than me.
Oh yeah, so you get it.
Yeah,
you
so
totally get it.
I get it.
Yeah.
Like he's not really my peer. He's just someone that I need to take care of.
Absolutely.
Or provide advice.
Yeah. Yep. Like my younger brother actually came into the city earlier this week, and we hung out, and like without even thinking, when we go to eat, like I'm putting my card down. Like I'm like, you can't pay for this. You're a child. And it's like, he's 25. But like, he's in my head, he's a child. So I don't know. I've always had that kind of relationship. So you totally get it. So you have the two siblings?
Yes. One little sister, 1 year younger than me.
Yeah.
And little brother.
Okay. Yes. So you're the oldest. I'm a middle child. Okay. Noted.
What does it mean to you to be a middle child?
So for me, I always was like the peacekeeper. Always the peacekeeper. always trying to juggle, make sure mom and dad were happy, make sure the brothers weren't doing anything to make mom and dad mad, kind of thing. Because even though I'm the middle child, I am the oldest daughter.
Right.
You know, and as an oldest daughter,
Yeah.
you know, you can probably relate to this feeling of like needing to be the leader, you know, like anytime Christmas rolls around, it's like my brothers are texting me being like, Kel, what are you getting mom and dad? And we'll give you money kind of thing. Like I'm always handling that kind of stuff.
That's nice. Like you're so important.
I know. I don't know what they would do without me.
They just make money.
Yeah. So do you get that feeling of like oldest sister?
I think I a lot of people think that I'm the only child. I guess I'm selfish.
Really?
Yeah.
No, like I totally get like kids, you know, I don't know you well enough to know if you do this, but like people that put out only child vibes.
I have only child vibes.
That's so funny.
I guess part of it is because I'm living alone now. I've been
sick.
abroad for a while. Like I don't know if being abroad is abroad at this point of my life.
Right.
I moved to New York 4 years ago, but I also lived in Norway for like a year.
Wow, okay.
Austria
Alone?
for like a year. Yes, alone.
Wow.
That was during college.
Okay.
So I feel like in my family, I'm always like someone that's not around. And then when I come back, they criticize me.
Oh, yeah.
And
you're
like,
like,
you changed so much.
yeah.
Come back.
And you're like, I wonder why I'm gone all the time. Come back and just get openly ridiculed.
Exactly, just openly being criticized for the entire dinner table. Oh, it's so terrible. So when I was in my hometown, Busan, I was on a radio show, local radio show. It was cool. I was happy that I was there. It was similar to podcast because, you know, it's live streamed.
Yeah.
And my dad saw it, and he just says, "You look so ugly."
Oh,
And
gosh.
then the next episode, I try something else. It's like, it looks slightly better. And then the next episode, I wear like a little heavier makeup, and he's like, "You look like a spinster."
A spinster.
Like a older spinster.
Yeah. It's like he can't compliment you.
No.
Yeah. So I don't want to psychoanalyze your dad.
Please do.
But I feel like something like that, where he's ridiculing the way that you look, it's because he kind of can't believe that you're hosting a radio show, that you're on a radio show that's live stream that people can watch and consume.
Yeah.
So it's like, instead of being like, wow, that's impressive and cool, and something that, I mean, I don't know what your dad does, if your dad
not
does
hosting radio
yeah,
show.
yeah. Like instead of being like, that's cool, that's something that I wouldn't do, it's so cool that you're doing that, it's like, instead it's pick you apart and say, oh, well, you actually looked ugly, and like you try to like change the way that you look, and it doesn't make them change, because there's nothing you could do to have your parents give you a compliment.
Yeah.
Because they were only ever going to ridicule you.
Now that I think about it, I'm just from a very judgmental family.
Yeah.
Like I think what you said was very true, and I agree with it. But I also recognize that my dad makes quite a lot of judgmental comments about any celebrities on TV, and then just judging people like within is so common. It's kind of my family culture, and I also catch myself doing that.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Oh, I totally get that. When like you are just hanging out with your parents, and the most fun thing to do is to talk shit about somebody. You know, it's like for my family, everybody will come meet at my grandparents' house for like Christmas or something, you know, all the extended family. And then the extended family leaves at the end of the night, and then it's just my parents and my grandparents, and that's when we debrief. That's when we talk about, okay, this person wore that person brought that person, you know, like, and you kind of, so I totally get that.
Yep.
And some people will say it's toxic. I just call it relating to my parents. Like,
This is how we bond.
totally. This is how we bond. Absolutely. But it still doesn't feel good when they do it to us.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
I think my parents used to be a lot more judgmental of me. And since once we both got older, they got older and I got older, they kind of were like, she's never going to change. And I kind of was like, well, they're never going to change. So what's the point of ridiculing each other? Now we just kind of learn to live with each other. But I like to say I see my family once a quarter,
Yeah.
you know, because even though they live in Jersey,
That's a good amount of frequency, I think.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I think so too, because my mom and I, we text, we sometimes will jump on a call if we have something to update each other on, whatever. But I don't know. It's weird because I really like living on the East Coast. I couldn't imagine living further from my parents
Yeah.
outside of an hour and a half. I would if I had to, but I still like don't go see them all the time. So I don't know. But I think that it would be harder to kind of be in like a very ambivalent place with my parents if I had to like see them all the time.
Yeah, I mean, healthy distance.
Healthy
helps.
distance, absolutely. So did your siblings flee the nest? Or are they still home?
So my little brother is now in army.
Oh, okay.
Every man in South Korea has to serve
Okay.
for about 2 years, which is not cool.
Mm-hmm.
But we have to. North Korea's there.
Yeah.
And my sister moved to Seoul, which is the capital city of Korea.
How far is
So-
that from?
That's about 3 hours train.
Okay.
We're a very tiny country.
Yeah. Yeah. The reason why I asked is because I think part of you leaving and going to other countries while your siblings have not, I think that also kind of goes into you coming home and getting ridiculed because you're the one that left and now you're coming back and it's like, oh, thanks for gracing us with your presence.
That happens. I
Yeah.
mean, like when my sister used to be living with our parents, with our parents. So I think she was having the best life.
Yeah.
She enjoyed living with her parents. It's so wrong to say. It should be our parents, right? But anyways, I think she was okay. Like I'm like the
Black sheep.
person that's being judged all the time.
Yeah.
It's not her.
Yeah. Yeah. She's the teacher's pet, so to speak.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. My older brother can do no wrong. He's like, you know, she sounds like the one that can do no wrong. Every family's got one, especially when there's a lot of siblings.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Interesting. So there's a few family dynamics happening there. It all plays into.
It's kind of similar every family.
I know.
If you think about it.
I know, which is kind of cool because like we're all from all over the parts of the world. So it's like, so when you first left Korea and you were living in a different country, was that like, did you experience a culture shock? Like, tell me a little bit about that.
Now that I've been here for a while, I kind of forgot a lot of it. But I also recognize how Americanized I've become.
Oh, okay.
That some Korean media, they kind of make fun, not like make fun of, but like, so Korean comedy is very much about like acting out this character or like acting out this very stereotype.
Right.
And there's this one woman comedian who plays Korean American.
Okay.
Like her stage name is Jenny.
Right.
And then she's fat.
Right.
Like and then she's always wearing a crop top.
Okay.
And then she says like drops English words here and there with like a very strong eye makeup. And I do see why that has become the character.
Right.
Cuz at this point I don't really care so much about like some, belly popping out in my dress. I don't care.
Yeah.
But Korean people think that people think that it's just so disgusting to see.
Right.
I think she's
It's,
kind of
like,
using that
offensive.
as a
Right.
comedy.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's also a defining characteristic. It's the difference between somebody that is, born and raised and living in Korea versus like you said, the Americanized version.
Yeah.
Someone that maybe doesn't care about something like that. Interesting. Okay. What do I want to ask you? I think maybe also, do you think your style like changed and evolved when you left home?
Yeah.
And so maybe that plays into a little bit of like why your parents are easy. It's easier for them to nitpick you because you changed.
Mm.
Yeah.
It does. One time, my mom literally picked out an outfit for me, like everything.
Really?
This shirt, this pants, these earrings.
Mm.
I think she. I think she wasn't really. I guess it's hard for parents to separate themselves from children.
Oh, absolutely.
I think she was going through that.
Yeah.
And then at that point, she has been criticizing me the whole, I don't know, month. And then that was the point where I was like, I don't want to listen to you.
Yeah.
And then she was going further out and like, no, just wear this and this and this.
Wow.
Because, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, parents seeing us as extensions of themselves totally plays into how they treat us and how they criticize us because they can't fathom why you would wear your hair like that or wear your makeup like that because that's not something they would do. And you're my DNA, so why are you like that? It's like a trip for them, you know?
Yeah.
And I think parents just have a tendency to be super stubborn.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. Do you resemble any of your parents?
Yeah, so I definitely look like a mixture of my mom and dad for sure. And when I was in high school, I went through I was like totally emo, you know, like black outfits. My mom didn't really let me color my hair, but I tried to like wear as much eyeliner as possible to look as emo as possible. And that would be something where my mom was like, I don't understand this. Like I don't understand why you would want to look like that, you know?
I can see you as an emo.
Oh yeah,
I see
totally.
it. But you have Taylor Swift up there.
I
though.
know. I've evolved. It's an eclectic taste because I also have Paramore up there, you know? Yeah, totally. So do you think I wonder where I want to take this because I definitely have more questions about just like dieting and food in Korea. Is there stuff like are there outside of like that book and outside of like something like the Apple diet, is there diets in Korea the way that here we have Jenny Craig and Lean Cuisine and Weight Watchers? Like, are you familiar with those?
Yeah.
Do those exist in Korea?
I don't think it does. I don't think I watch any of them actually. But there's a very specific trend of getting their body profile. I don't think this actually translates well in English, but so a lot of people go to the gym like as a trend,
right? To like film themselves,
like just as a trendy lifestyle.
Okay, yeah, trendy lifestyle,
not like TikTok dance,
like fit girl.
Yes,
yeah,
fit girl.
Yeah,
trendy lifestyle.
Yeah,
and then they go work out, and then they have this like a big goal of shooting themselves, getting a fashion photo shoot, photo shoot.
Yeah, to like model.
Yeah, like as a half naked version with bunch of muscles.
Wow.
And that's kind of a thing. Like people want to be like, I want to get my body photo shoot.
Right. That's like a common goal.
Yeah. And to do that, people go on diets, go to the gym, and follow certain programs.
Yeah.
And, wear like, I don't know, chicken breast.
Yeah.
I guess it's the best for
right.
diet.
Okay. Interesting.
But I've never done it.
Yeah, no, you've always just been.
Yeah.
Did you ever struggle with, and anything you say that you're like, oh, I went too far, I didn't mean to say that, we can cut out. But did you ever struggle with things like eating disorders? I mean, the Apple diet, that is disordered eating. But like, that kind of thing where you're like deliberately not eating or something like that. Like, has that ever come up for you?
I think I have interesting relationship with food because I don't like it so much.
You're not a foodie person.
I'm not a huge foodie. I appreciate good food.
Yeah.
But I don't care so much about food.
Right.
So it's less so not really of an eating disorder, but more of like
disinterest,
unhealthy relationship with food.
Right. Did your mom cook? Was she a good cook?
No, she wasn't.
She wasn't a good cook.
No.
And she didn't cook, or she did?
She did. She was like literally. She was forcing herself to cook because she is a woman.
Yeah. Right.
And women.
Yeah. Women cook
we
and
have
yeah, that's just like our job.
Yeah, like I growing up, I remember my mom just complaining about how much she hated cooking.
Oh, okay.
So I think that was definitely like, engraved in my
yeah,
head.
you never had like, because my friends that have moms that are like amazing cooks, they either took that on and like was like, oh, I'm gonna watch what my mom does, or like they suck at it and they're like, well, my mom always cooked, so I never had to.
Yeah.
But if you don't have someone in the house that's like showing you and teaching you how to cook because they don't like it or whatever it is, you can see why it won't translate to you.
Yeah. But
Oh, sorry.
It's okay.
The guard dog is on the loose. Relax, Finn. Relax. I know this is my listener's favorite, is when Finny alert. I need like a bell or something when Finny decides to start barking. Relax, buddy.
I like how this is your listener's favorite.
Oh yeah. I mean, he's a staple on the show. Normally he's like chilling here, but I don't know. He's too busy guarding the estate.
But going back to the eating disorder,
yes.
I think I'm very fortunate that I haven't experienced it. But I have a friend who is beautiful. She's beautiful.
Yeah.
And she was suffering from eating disorder. And then about like body dysmorphia, her butt was so huge. She worked out. She made that happen.
Right.
But like she still had really bad relationship with food, and I felt bad, really bad. She was my roommate.
Oh wow. Yeah, I mean, and it's so hard when like you're living with someone and seeing them go through that, because it's just like, why do you not see what I see? Like, you look beautiful, you know. Yeah, that's really hard.
Did any of your guests have like a crazy eating disorder?
Oh yeah, and you know what's so funny? And I probably have said this before on the show, but I'll have people like, we'll record an episode and they'll say after the fact, like, oh, did you like hear in a joke that I had that I dealt with eating disorders, or like, did you see something pertaining to me dealing with eating disorder? And I said, and I always say, no, I had no idea, because I would have said, oh, I saw this joke about, you having an eating disorder, come do my podcast. No, it's just, I think you're cool. I think you're funny. So I want you to come on. And it's just that a majority of us have dealt with this. And so a lot of the times when I have someone where I just ask if they want to do the show, they'll come on and have some like guys, girls, they'll have some like crazy, disordered eating story or time in their life. And it's so funny, because I notice, especially for guys, they'll come on here and say like, oh yeah, there was a time in my life where I threw up after I ate, but I never realized that was like a weird thing to do. And it's just such a guy reaction to something.
Are so dumb.
I know. Isn't that so funny? So funny.
Men just don't really, they just have to put the facts like right in front of them.
I know. Yeah.
Like, unless it's like written like right in front of them, or like anything, they just don't know.
Context clues. They never get context clues.
Yes, that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
yes.
Absolutely. It's so funny. A few weeks ago, I had my friend, he's a comic, his name's Scott Hall, on the show, and he told this crazy story about how he's adopted, but he also had a twin brother who was also adopted, but to a different family. And he said, yeah, I would go and I would vacation with this kid. I would vacation with my twin brother who had, a different adoptive family. And I was like, oh, so you knew you were twins, but you both were with separate, moms and dads. And he's like, no, we didn't know we were twins, but we would like go to Hershey Park together. And I was like, when did you find out? And he's like, well, we were leaving an amusement park one day, and my parents said, oh, by the way, Joe, I don't know the name, Joe is your twin brother. And I was like, how many years did you go vacationing with your twin brother when you didn't know it was your twin? And
they don't look alike?
And that's what I asked. He's like, no, he was always heavier than me, so we never really looked alike. And he's like, years. We would go for years. And I was like, Scott, if it was two girls that were from different adoptive families coming together, we would have had that shit figured out in 10 minutes. Like, we would have had it totally figured out that we were twins. Like, when's your birthday? Like,
like you're adopted too?
Yeah. Like, oh, okay. You have green eyes? Okay. You know, like we just sort of figured it out. It's just like what we were talking about. Guys, like what is going on up there?
They're dumb. They just be playing video games like, what's up, dude? What's up,
I
dude?
know.
And, like,
And they
turned out
think they're
with
the
twins.
world's best comedians because whatever they say comes out of their mouth. And it's like, no. And I'm not like anti-male comedian. There's too many of them to be that way. But like, it's like they think that they're like God's gift. And it's like, God, you're just existing. And we feel like horrible for just existing.
Yes,
what
we
a world.
are. Just
What
like
a world.
Going back to the like comments on the video, it's female comics get terrible comments.
Horrible.
I think it's way worse than male comics.
Way worse.
There should be some sort of research, but yeah, the comments would come at women's looks, right? Not even the comments.
Always.
I mean jokes.
Oh no, it's never about the joke.
Mm.
It's never about the joke. It's always about how we look. And it drives me insane because it's just like, okay, but I didn't post this so that you could pick apart the way that I look. Like I posted this so that, you know,
Yeah, for
you
your
could,
craft and art.
Exactly. So that I could like put this funny idea that I had out into the world and hopefully people will like it and hopefully they'll follow me. I mean, I don't know. I'm doing this all for Instagram followers.
Aren't we all?
Truly, it's
Aren't
so
we
painful.
all?
It's so painful.
Yeah, some of my comments were like, go back to the kitchen.
Oh.
Or classic. What else? Like, I don't know. Some people are like nicer ones.
Yeah.
And then they be mansplaining about like how the joke should be. And they be like, oh, if I were you, I would say this and this and this. And it's so not funny.
I know. It's like, okay, thank you for that. You've never even been to an open mic before, so I don't really know why you're talking to me.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so frustrating. How long have you been doing comedy?
Little over a year.
Oh, okay, a little over a year.
Yeah. How about you?
I just had 6 years in April.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you celebrate?
I celebrated my friend May Planner, friend of the show. She actually filmed her first 30-minute taping that same day. And she had me open up the show. I was one of the opening comics.
That's beautiful.
Before her taping, which was great.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun. And it definitely felt good to do something like that, especially for one of my friends, but to be like, okay, well, she trusted me enough to, you know, go and do this to open up her special taping because it's like you're capturing it. You want it to be perfect, you know? I feel like I'm dysmorphic about everything. Like I'm dysmorphic about the way that I look. I'm dysmorphic about my comedy. Like I think I'm so much less funnier than like what people say I am.
What do you mean by
know?
this being dysmorphic?
Like I just have a what I think to be true about myself, from everything about like how I look to how I am and the things that I say are just like bad. Like I think it's all bad. And I always ask myself, well, then why do I continue to do this if I think I'm bad? And it's like, well, because I have this want and desire, and there has to be a part of me that doesn't think I'm so bad.
Yeah.
You know, it's like this weird constant battle.
Yeah.
Do you deal with that?
I hear you. Yes, I do. I was so I started comedy about a year ago, but like I was doing other stuff. Like I mentioned that I'm a painter.
Yes.
And then I've been dancing for a while,
Oh.
for almost a decade or over a
Nice.
decade even. I never liked my dancing.
Really?
Never been so confident at it ever. And I've been dancing for 10 years
Wow.
and never thought that was good.
Wow. What kind of dancing?
Started off like as hip hop,
Mhm.
K-pop kind of thing. And then I've been trying voguing
Oh,
for the
fun.
couple years.
Wow, that's awesome.
And then I hurt my ligament, so
Oh.
I'm not dancing these days. But I think having a little break of not dancing helped me a lot. And now I go back to my video and I'm like, I was actually okay. I was
Yeah.
actually pretty good.
It's almost like looking at a photo of yourself. Like the moment I take a photo, I hate the way I look. I can't even look at it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I give myself some time and I go back and I'm like, oh, okay, well, I don't look as, I don't know why I thought I looked so bad. It's almost like the same thing.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know why I thought I was such a bad dancer.
Yeah. I mean, do you look at your old jokes and go back and like,
It's so painful.
Oh, is it?
It's
Okay.
so painful for me. It's so I haven't gotten there with jokes yet. I look at old jokes and I'm like, oh, I can't believe I said that out loud.
we are all evolving
Yeah.
beings.
Yeah, I know. I know. I think about like what I ever said at my first open mic and I cringe. Um okay, yes.
Yeah.
So you said you live alone in New York. For me, when I lived alone, that was when like my eating could get like crazy, where it was like, oh, I'm alone. This is like no one to
Yeah.
perceive me, no one to judge me. You don't deal with that, or is there anything that you do like when you're alone that you're like, I don't know if I would do this in front of
I have a
another
very
person?
terrible eating schedule.
Really?
And I think that's because I live alone and eat
Yeah,
alone.
because you can eat whenever.
Yeah.
You don't have to take into consideration somebody else.
Yeah.
Or like it's like when you live with a roommate, it's like you're kind of working around when they're going to be in the kitchen. And when you live with a partner, like somebody that you are like romantically involved with, it's like you have to coordinate your schedule so you can eat together. But when you're alone, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I eat at like what, 1,
Yeah.
2 in the morning. That's not healthy. Like I skip breakfast.
Yeah.
Have huge lunch and then forget about dinner and then come back home. I'm like, I'm hungry. I cook myself on a cauliflower.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm trying to improve that.
When you are home, does your family kind of get together around food?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like I know for my family, like food is like part of how we bond. It's like part of like how we get together. And so it sounds like, I don't know, I was gonna say maybe like a food, well, like you said, your mom wasn't much of a cook, so
Yeah, but my grandmother on my dad's side, huge huge on cooking. Is that even, am I saying this right? She loves
yeah,
she
she's
loves
big
to
on
cook.
cooking. Yeah.
Yeah. She is a great cook. And then the best way to show love for her is to eat her food so well.
Oh, right. Like
Yeah.
to eat to the point where you're like, I can't eat another
Yeah.
bite, but it's like rude to refuse it kind of thing.
Yeah.
But is she also somebody, not to talk shit about anybody's grandma, but is she also somebody that would like make a comment about you getting fat?
Actually, she's not.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good. Because there's nothing worse than a grandma that wants to feed you. Please eat my food. Please eat my food. And then you turn around and they're like, oh, she's getting fat. It's like, well, I mean.
That sounds so fucked up.
Yeah.
But she's very pro eating. She's
Okay,
like,
good.
Eat a lot, and then it makes her happy.
Yeah.
And then the other grandma on my mom's side, because she's the judgmental one.
Yeah.
She says things.
Yeah.
About, like, you're fat.
Yeah.
And or like your eyebrow is terrible. Like very very specific comments about
Yeah.
how you should be.
Oh, and you're like, I didn't even notice this about myself. How did you notice this? Oh, that's so terrible. But I get it. I totally get it. I had a grandmother, she's since passed, but she like would make a comment about you being too skinny and say like, oh, all you eat is rabbit food, meaning like lettuce and carrots, like rabbit food. It's like, all you eat is rabbit food, like eat something. And then she would feed you, and then she'd be like, oh, you ate a lot, you're getting, you don't want to get fat. It's like, okay, well, all right. I just cannot win.
Yeah.
But then I was kind of been like, is it just because people of a certain age just feel like they have to give their opinion no matter what? It's like,
Probably.
they don't even know what they're saying. They're just saying what they observe without any kind of filter.
I think the older you get, it becomes like that, or the more comedy you do.
Oh, yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally. I know. What else? Did you notice where did you go to college?
Back in Korea.
Back in Korea.
Yeah.
Okay. And you were able to travel because of going to school?
Yes, I was doing exchange student.
Oh, okay. Very
so
awesome.
that was to Norway.
Nice.
They are beautiful people.
Yeah.
Beautiful people, beautiful tall people. You know how the public restroom?
Yeah.
Everything is just like higher up.
Wow.
Because everyone's taller.
Oh
so
my God,
like
that's so funny.
Yeah, the mirror just starts from my neck. Like,
So that's so funny you say that because I'm 5'8" and I'm the shortest one in my family.
what?
Yeah, all of my family is super, super tall. So when my parents were getting like our bathroom redone, all of my friends would come over and it would be the same thing where like they'd look in the kitchen sink and they'd only see from like this up because
Yes.
my mom was like, oh yeah, this looks good, because she could see herself, because she's like 5'10", 5'11", so she could see herself, and like all the other tall people could see themselves, but everybody else.
Yeah, it
That's
was
so funny.
just me and my just plain
Yeah.
face, no neck, just there.
That's amazing. Were you open to trying the food when you traveled and lived abroad?
Yeah, it was just not good.
Oh, it wasn't good.
European, but I mean, I wasn't like a northern Europe.
Mm.
Yeah, food was not the most memorable part of this.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Norwegians. Your food is terrible. There's this like really interesting cheese though. It's called brown cheese.
Okay.
It's goat cheese.
Oh, I love goat cheese.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
I love goat
Yes,
cheese.
I recommend
Yeah.
Norwegian brown cheese.
Norwegian brown cheese. Do you have any spots in the city that you like to eat?
Oh, in general?
Yeah.
I guess like a couple pizza places.
You like pizza? Pizza's
Yeah,
good.
again, not a huge foodie.
Yeah.
To treat myself, I guess I'd go to K barbecue.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty corny of me.
No, I mean, K barbecue is good.
Yeah.
Is K barbecue that you get in the city, is that like super Americanized, or is like?
I think it's pretty legit.
Yeah, you think?
Yeah, I think it's pretty
It's good
legit.
to know.
A friend of mine, this is like the moment I just got back to New York, like about a month ago. A friend of mine, she just ended the Ramadan, so it's like Eid, right?
Yeah.
And then she was begging me to go to Korean barbecue with her to
Uh-huh.
celebrate
Yeah.
the end of Ramadan. And I just got back from Korea.
Oh, so you were
And
like,
I'm like, I know. Do I want to spend like
I know.
$100 for this food that I was eating the whole time? But she's like begging me to go to Korean barbecue to celebrate Muslim holiday. But yes, a K barbecue is great.
Did you go with your
I
friend?
did. I did.
Yeah.
I love her. I love my friend.
Is
Yes.
this might be a dumb question, but is it way cheaper in Korean barbecue?
way
cheaper.
Way cheaper. But I did that for my friend. She's
That's
my
you're a good,
mother.
very good friend.
Yes, she's literally my mother figure.
Oh, that's so nice.
Yes, I think she'd be so happy to hear that I was doing a podcast called "I Feel Fat."
Oh, really?
She has worked. She's a very advocacy oriented person.
Oh, nice.
And then she's always like advocating for like different types of bodies.
yeah,
And
like
I love her.
we all look fine no matter
Yeah.
what. I know. Isn't that such a crazy concept? Like, I remember the first time my therapist was like, you just have to like get okay with the fact that you look fine. Like, no matter what body you're in, like, what standard are you trying to live up to? And I'm like, I don't know, the one in my head. I don't know.
It's a very great concept.
I know.
But it's very hard to get your mind to it.
I'm not there at all. I am not at all there. Hence the podcast. I'm like on a journey of trying to just be okay with how I look. But then I do something like the roast that we were at on Sunday. Now, like we were talking about before, I wasn't one of the people that were that was battling anybody. I was just a judge. I was just there to observe. I was just there to, tell my little jokes of what I thought about the battlers. It's a very fun position to be in, but I feel like I was the only girl on the judges panel, and I just had to deal with people in the crowd, comics in the crowd, just yelling out mean things at me that the other judges weren't dealing with. And it's like, that's why body positivity, body neutrality is so hard to like get okay with for yourself, because it's like, I'm dealing with people that just think like yelling out saying that I'm fat is a joke. And it's like, that's not a joke. Like, write a joke and maybe like it'll be permissible to me.
Yeah.
But just yelling that out at me almost like it's a profanity is like, I feel like I'm just like in a constant battle to like, shield myself from these like shitty male comedians that like think they're funny.
I am so surprised you thought that way, because the way you handled it was so cool.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, and I'm like, she is a boss.
Thank you. Because I was dying inside. But I feel like I've perfected the art of like, but that's the thing. You just have to like get back at them, because like I just had to react and, kind of think like, okay, just say the funnier thing, you know, which I think I did do.
You definitely did.
Well, I appreciate that. And that's very validating for me to hear someone who like saw it and is able to say like, oh, you know, you handled it. Ugh, because it was rough. It was rough.
But like, you didn't feel the laughters, like when you get the laughters, do you translate directly to the validation, or does it take you a while to?
It takes me a while. Like I needed to hear you say that I handled it well, because I feel like I don't hear the full laughs. I like always wish the laughs were better because I'm not hearing them appropriately.
You know, I think it could be. I also heard this many times, like how women comics tend to be more focused on people who are not laughing.
Totally.
In comparison to people who are actually laughing.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I will zero in on somebody that is not laughing and just like try to, without actually explicitly calling them out, without trying to be like, why aren't you laughing? To like try to break them specifically.
Yeah.
You know, and it's usually just a guy in the back that like is tired and doesn't want to be there. And it's like, what? And then they crack a smile and you're like, oh, I got him. You know, because some people do go to comedy shows where they're like, want to make a point to sit there and not laugh, like impress me.
Those are the worst.
I know. What is wrong with those people?
Okay,
you paid money.
Yesterday, I was at this like not stupid. I ended up at a tech bro party.
Okay.
Yeah, like
a tech bro. Okay.
Tech bro, like just it was like a WeWork kind of area.
I've been to many in my early 20s. Yeah.
Yes, free beer. Free
yeah, I
pizza,
mean, of course, that's why we're there.
Yeah, and, one of the girls, one of the people I met there, she was a German girl, and somehow it kind of became part of the stand-up comedy has become the topic of the conversation because I'm a comic. And then this girl is like, oh, I was at like this thing called Comedy Cellar. I hated it. I was sleeping.
What?
And then there was this like one comic who made jokes about like dead grandparents, and I'm like, this is terrible. And I was just sleeping. And then the other person who took me there, he was sleeping too. So we were just taking turns sleeping.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, why'd you pay for that? I'm like, oh, the other guy paid for that. And I'm like, but he was sleeping too at a Comedy Cellar. And I'm like, I cannot handle this conversation. I'm gonna walk out.
Yeah, no,
so I literally
walked
out.
Offensive to me.
Yes.
I know. I get like it's so much better just to like walk away.
Yeah.
Because like people like that, it's like, what are you trying to prove? That you're no fun at parties? Like,
I mean, also I said that I do stand-up comedy.
And you're like talking. Yeah. And like, I know this is not true because you were at the Comedy Cellar. Like before I did comedy, I used to always go to the Comedy Cellar because I loved watching stand-up. And even when I saw my favorite comedians ever legitimately bomb, it still was such a good time because I'm like, I'm in the tiniest room ever. I'm in a basement in New York City, essentially. And I'm watching this like amazing comedian try out material and it's not working. That's like an amazing New York experience.
It is.
You know? So for anybody to say that they like went to the Comedy Cellar and they were falling asleep, it's like, okay, comedy is not for you.
Yeah, I mean, she's a German.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Very, yeah.
Yeah. Boring.
Yeah.
Boring people.
Yeah. I feel like people if you're not into comedy and you're not from the US, you don't understand American comedy. Like if a German person is a comic, maybe they get it a little bit more. Like you're from South Korea, you're a comic, you get it way more than, you know, somebody that's like German that is like, I'm not impressed.
But going back to what like seeing a terrible set at Cellar.
Yeah.
I think the best thing about comedy, like watching live comedy, is that you're blessed by the person on stage. Like you're blessed.
Yeah.
You're blessed. You're getting the energy.
Their
from them.
presence is a present.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with you. I love being in that energy completely. And I remember the first time I saw like any comedian, male or female, talk about their body in a way that was disparaging and the crowd was laughing at, I was like, oh, this is what I need to be doing. Because they're saying how I feel, but they're making it funny and they're eliciting a reaction out of people that is like electric.
Yeah.
You know, so much. And I also think that with comedy, I don't know sort of like what your stand-up is, but for myself, like being very self-disparaging for me is like, I'm saying this because I think you might be thinking it and I want to say it first.
It's very empowering.
Yeah.
Yeah, that you actually took over, like you're in control of people's opinion.
Yeah.
While not disagreeing with them.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But you know what the worst is? And I know that they're just trying to be nice, but when I get done with the show and then someone in the audience comes up to me afterward and they're like, "You're beautiful." Don't say that about yourself. And it's like, no.
Do you know that it's gonna happen right before that happens?
100%. I could tell by their body language. I could tell by the way they're about to approach me. They always like put their hand out to like touch my elbow. You know, they're
like,
literally, they're always like, I just wanted to say you were funny, but don't say that about yourself. And I just want to be like, and my response every time is, I know, honey. Thank you so much. I just like chat, like, because by calling someone honey in that way, it's kind of like talking down to them. It's like, oh, honey, I know, you know, but I know I would never, I care way too much about people being mad at me. I would never say anything like nasty or retort back, you know, whatever. Like, what I want to say is, I know, bitch, you just you don't get it. You don't get it, you know. But what I'm going to say is, oh, it's fine. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Follow me on Instagram.
Follow our Instagram right now.
You know what would make me feel better? If you follow me on Instagram. Oh, my God. Have you ever had a set where someone came up to you after and was like, don't say that?
Oh my God. I actually talk a lot about fucking black men. I talk about their dicks.
Yeah.
I talk about how their dicks taste like lamb meat. And then some black girls are turned on me.
Really?
Yeah. And then she said, like, don't ever say that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. Interesting. Was she like hostile, or was she like come up to you like friend to friend?
I think she was very friendly. She's like, I really like you. I like your energy, but just like that comment on the black dicks.
And you're like, I'm not a foodie. I don't know.
I don't know what I'm saying. I'm
not really into food, so I can't really
It
tell.
really does. I still believe in that.
That's so
the
funny.
lamb meat part. Very strong stance to it.
That's so funny. I know it sucks when someone comes up to you after a show and you're just like, oh, no. I will not be taking comment. I'm not open for criticism at this time.
Yeah, I mean, it's also because like comedy is so, like, you get criticism right away.
Exactly.
On the stage.
I know exactly how you feel. You're telling me without telling me in most cases, you know, it's just like, I know how you feel about this based on your reaction or non-reaction to something. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it's just like, I think it's the people that don't get comedy, because the thing about comedy is you have to go into it with this mentality. Not that I'm like a fucking purveyor of comedy, not that I know anything at all, but
you know so well.
I think you have to be able to go into it with this mindset that really anything goes within reason, but really anything goes. Like, it is like, we get up there and we say the most, you know, you think that the equation is A plus B equals C, but a comic is supposed to do A plus B equals XYZ. You know, like, we're supposed to take it to a place that like you didn't think it would go, or that like maybe you're not supposed to go. Mm-hmm. It's hard to give a real life example of that, but I think like lamb meat dick is probably a good example of that. I am so tempted to name this episode Lamb Meat Dick, but I'm not going to, because I don't think that'd be good for the algorithm.
But yes, something to remember.
Something to
something
consider.
To take away.
Yeah, something to consider. Oh my gosh, amazing. Well, we're kind of like powering down here. We're coming to the end of recording. Is there anything that, like, you know, we didn't touch on that you want to let the listener know about? Like, I think we covered a good bit.
Yeah, I think
Growing up in South Korea, going off on your own, living in New York on your own. You're very independent. You consider yourself independent?
I am.
Yeah.
I am.
Yeah.
I try to be, at least.
Yeah. I mean, you have a vibe of independence for sure.
Thank you.
absolutely. Which I think is a wonderful quality.
You seem very dependent to your pets.
So yes.
So learn from me.
No, you're very right about that. Amazing. Well, where can people find you?
I am on Instagram. It's called Text and the City.
Text in the City. Okay.
So instead of sex, text instead of sex.
Text instead of
Text and the
sex.
City. And then I'm on TikTok. I'm thinking of launching. I will launch a podcast.
Amazing.
So I'm very excited about it.
Yeah,
too.
I'm so excited to be a guest on that eventually.
Yes, please.
Do you sell your paintings or is that just for you?
I do sell paintings, but I'm just like currently being terrible at organizing myself.
Totally. Yeah.
But I do sell paintings.
Amazing. Okay, so
DM
that's
me
great.
for inquiries.
I love that. Are you a fan of Sex in the City? And that's why
I
you're-
am.
Oh, I'm a big fan as well.
Yeah.
A huge fan of Sex in the City. Have you watched all the
Yes, I
Yeah.
can. I think I can. Even if you pick whatever episode, I can talk
You
about
could
it.
probably talk about it.
Yes.
I mean, I know there's a lot of Sex in the City podcasts out there, but I mean, throw another one to the bunch, you know? That's great. I'm a big fan as well.
Yeah.
Huge fan of Sex in the City.
Who's your favorite character?
That's such a good question. I think I am a mix of, it's hard to say now because I'm older and like my habits are a little bit different. I would say when I was in my 20s, I was a mix of, I always get Charlotte and Miranda mixed up. Who's the brunette one?
Charlotte.
Charlotte and Samantha.
Mhm.
Like the two difference, like the whore and the
Oh.
conservative. That was like very much me.
You're a conservative hoe.
Yeah. Like I always had this like burning desire to be a slut, but I had like too much guilt about it.
Mm.
And so I very much identified with Charlotte in that aspect, but also just loved Samantha's like independence,
Yeah.
especially. She didn't need no man, you know? And when she did find a man, he was so great. Yeah, I would probably say, it's probably now, I would say, honestly, it's hard because I'm in a long-term relationship now, but I'm going to go with Samantha. I like her the best.
She's the best.
She's the most fun.
She's the best.
She's the most fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. What
My
about
favorite
you?
is hers too.
Yeah.
But like I love Carrie's fashion.
I know Carrie is so fun.
So
Her
hard
fashion, and I
not to love.
yeah, I think that your style, from what I saw on Sunday night, is like that is so Carrie.
I am.
She
blushing.
would go there. She would go there for sure. She would wear a painted outfit.
She would not go to a rose comedy.
No.
battle.
She wouldn't go there. She would go there with her outfit. Yeah, she wouldn't be at a roast.
She would hate it.
She would hate it.
Yeah.
She'd be like, you people are animals. Amazing. Well, I'm so glad. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Did you have fun?
I had a lot of fun.
I'm glad. Okay. All of Minji's information is going to be in the description of the show, as always. And until next time, bye.
Bye.